What's up guys, and welcome to the F1 2015 Road to Release. Yes, this is a series where I talk about the game ideas from you guys and the sort of things that you want to be implemented in F1 2015, the upcoming game from Codemasters. And in the background today we've got some F1 2013 gameplay from a couple of the classic tracks. But yep, last episode I asked you guys what did you want to see in the online for F1 2015. So I've got some of your guys' ideas in front of me, and I'm going to be talking about them over the next 10 minutes or so. In the comments this time, if you could leave down below the top 3 things that you want to see implemented in the F1 2015 game, and I'll go over those in the next episode, which should hopefully be next week or the week after. Getting straight into the ideas, and yeah, let's start off with Smooth Racing, who says that there should be league support, full grids, ranking system, and being able to join a practice session whilst also waiting for other players to join. So the league support, obviously there are a lot of different leagues now on the F1 games. You know, it's something that's been expanding over the last few years especially, and I think it would probably encourage more people to sort of join leagues, and I think overall it would just give league racing a much better platform to work on. And yeah, I think, you know, like something like Call of Duty and Battlefield, you know, it just encouraged more people to play the online side of things, and I think it would probably add to the longevity of the game as well, which is something, probably one of the most important, if not the most important thing, that, yeah, you know, you want to see in a game. Moving on to the full grids. Now, that would only actually be 4 more cars, because obviously there are only 20 cars on the F1 2015 grid. And currently we've got 16-man lobbies, but I think it would be vital for them to make sure that they do nail the 16-man lobbies first of all. So yeah, you know, if they could make sure that those are stable, and maybe, you know, if they've got those stable, then if they could try out 20-car grids maybe before the game comes out, and if it does work, they implement it. But, you know, I think more than anything, people just want to see some good, clean and non-laggy racing between 16 people. So yeah, full grids would be good, but yeah, like I say, just make sure that they nail the 16-man grids. Ranking system is something that a lot of people, a lot of you guys down in the comments section seem to want. I personally would love to see it as well, because you know, I think it would help you get paired with people of a similar ability. More like something like Ultimate Team on FIFA, where, you know, you go at the divisions and face people of a similar ability. And, you know, it give a lot more purpose to your online racing as well. You know, you go on and sort of strive to get to a certain level. Maybe if they had, like, Call of Duty has the prestige levels, maybe if you could have something like that, like bronze, silver, or gold, or you know, some kind of incentive to just sort of keep playing the online side of things, and that really hasn't been there, at least over the last few years. So yeah, you know, it'd be good to see them sort of bring that sort of thing back to the F1 games, and also being able to join practice lobbies whilst waiting for other players to join. I think that sort of comes under the sort of like the online practice sessions, which we will talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, we spent quite a lot of time on that question. There were quite a lot of things, so thanks a lot, Josh, for the suggestions. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is from Top Track, who says, my idea is to have updated skins online, even if you don't have a PC, to have the same cars in real life and online in leagues. So I think what he's getting at here is having, like, different skins for cars. So like McLaren in 2014 had quite a lot of different skins. So they had like Mobile One sponsorship in some races, SAP, Johnny Walker, etc. And I think, yeah, you know, it would be good for people that weren't on PC to have these different skins. And you know, say you're racing in an online race, you know, or in a league race, then, you know, you could pick and choose it, because at the moment it is very much restricted to PC. And you know, if you've got a PC like myself, it's all well and good, you know, you can change your skins and what have you. But I think, yeah, it is a little bit harsh on the console guys. It was really limited, but once again, I think that does depend on the license. But yeah, it would be something that's very, very good to implement. But yeah, I'm really not sure how hard it would be to put into the game. So Ryan Foley is the next up, and he goes on about the 1-hour practice sessions, which is what I was saving myself for. And yeah, this would be fantastic to see, because it's something they've never put in before. But, you know, just sort of to hop in and hop out of practice sessions is something that especially league racers would really love to see, because, you know, rather than just setting up qualifying sessions just to have sort of a practice session where you can jump in and out of. That would be really, really good to have, and yeah, you know, I think people would really sort of utilise that feature. Like I say, especially the league races and the ranking system. You know, again, it's something that comes up under Ryan's point, so it's something that's very, very popular. This ranking system that they had back on F1 2012 to an extent. But maybe if they could also expand on that, then that would be great. But yeah, he goes on about, you know, I said earlier about maybe paired with people of a similar ability. Here he goes on about how clean you race. So maybe, you know, if you do race cleanly, then you get put in certain lobbies, and if you race dirty, then you get put in with dirty people, because, you know, sprint mode's always been ruined by the noobs, and, you know, any sort of way to eradicate them, you know, that can only be good. So anyway, Richard Gonda is the next guy who asks a question, who just goes on with a point, but anyway. He says, option for realistic damage like on PC. Yeah, you know, the realistic damage mod is something that so many people have been using, especially, you know, people like myself and also other YouTubers, and they really, you know, we really do enjoy using it, because it does, you know, it adds that realistic feature, as it says in the name. Once again, I'm not sure whether the license permits that. Obviously, you know, if Luke Spring or any of the other Co-Masters guys are watching, then it would be great to hear some sort of feedback on that. By the way, guys, Luke Spring, community director, did watch the last episode, so, you know, your opinions are being taken on board, which is good to see. But anyway, back onto Richard's point, who says, also better spectator cameras. Now, this is something that's been talked about for quite a long time, and once again, it would be a lot better for league races. Maybe, you know, something like iRacing have got. And it would give sort of a more Call of Duty style. Once again, it's something that I keep bringing myself back to. But Call of Duty really has built itself as an esports. And although Formula 1 obviously doesn't have that sort of big fan base, I think it really could help to at least develop the game and, you know, sort of establish itself as a serious game with online races. Because at the moment, it's still getting its feet off the ground. And, yeah, you know, if it could have better spectator cameras and just, you know, a better online experience generally, I genuinely think that it could become a much better game. But, yeah, thanks a lot, Richard, once again. And that guy, wow, what a name. He says full 18-man grids. Obviously, that comment was posted before it was announced that Mana would be on the grid for 2015. But he also says improved penalty system. Yeah, I think that's got better over the last few years, and I do think that will be improved. Better collision detection. Now, that's an interesting one. I think that sort of links into the realistic damage mod, which, once again, is something that a lot of people would like to see, as I said earlier. And also, yeah, he just says less bugs. And, yeah, I think, you know, people are just sort of sick of the game in general being buggy, like the equal cars not being equal on 2013. And, you know, the pad versus wheel situation on 2014. And I think generally if they could just sort of make the game completely even for all players, then, you know, once again, that can only be good for the game. Zakrob Dubs Gaming says, pad versus wheel, need I say more? No, you don't. Anyway, Benjamin Plutt, he says online parade formation and victory laps, and in the victory lap your driver could celebrate as if he got a good result. Yeah, that'd be cool. And also the donuts on said victory lap. I think formation lap mainly is something that people would like. Victory laps, you know, they would be great also. But, yeah, you know, maybe online like they do on iRacing. Have cooldown laps. I think that, again, that's more of a hardcore feature. And I think they should more be focusing on the core gameplay. Something like a formation lap, especially in league races, that would be awesome to see. Like getting the tyres up to temperature and what have you. I'd love to see that. I've never been a big fan of having the victory laps, but I think formation laps is something that we've been crying out for so many years now. Flying the Orangutan, or Niran, says that online has to have some sort of incentive. Now, this is something that I've actually been going on for pretty much most of the video. So it's good to see that Niran, obviously a fellow F1 YouTuber, sort of says the same sort of thing. And maybe if XP leads to prizes, yeah, you know, XP has always been a bit meaningless. So it would be pretty good to see it mean something. And finally, Rev Limit Gaming says lag should be resolved to a level where the game is playable online. That's a very good point. And he says sideplug glitching should not exist at all. Yeah, you know, I think just so long as the game is playable for anyone around the world, you know, just so long as people from Australia can play against people from Europe and people from the US, all play against each other, I think that would make a very good game. And sideplug glitching should not exist at all. No, it most certainly shouldn't. I think, you know, we touched on those sort of bugs earlier, and just so long as they can eradicate those sort of bugs, then that really would be good for the game. But yeah, that's just about concludes today's episode, guys. I think we're just under the 10-minute mark, but thanks so much for watching. And like I say, if you could put down in the comments section top 3 things that you'd like to see implemented in the F1 2015 game, and I'll get onto those next episode. Thanks ever so much for watching. Make sure you take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.